Podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host Dave D. Join us weekdays. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheads-podcast.com.
And welcome to Pattaya, welcome to Thailand, and of course welcome to Talking Heads today, which is a really special jamcast because we have a house full. We got some yo-yos in the house, Bobby.
I'm yo-yo number one.
Yo-yo number one. You're on mission control today, so you're the man with the golden button, aren't you?
Yep.
So we've got to be nice to you, yeah?
Yes. We
got Richard over in the background. We're going to say hello to Richard. He's over in the background. And, of course, look at these two guys in front of me. Right in front of me, Snowman, the man himself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I just yo. I don't come back up.
You're not a yo-yo. You're just a yo.
Just a yo.
Yo. So you must be Matthew Kelly at the end. Are you a yo-yo or a yo?
Oh, yeah, you can either or.
He's easily pleased. Okay, guys, listen. Welcome to the podcast studio.
Great to be here.
You're a virgin here in here. Matthew's been here before, so
yeah, it's plenty of times.
We always welcome virgins into our house. That's correct, isn't it, Bobby? Always. What do you don't you dare drink water when you're talking to me.
I'm thirsty. We got served some beautiful drinks here, and I am indulging right now.
Good. Well, you can indulge as much as you want. Snowman, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you in the studio.
Good to be here.
And for people that don't know you, I mean, where do you come from? Where was you born, sir?
Chicago. Chicago.
How long ago?
Oh, decades ago.
Decades ago.
Yes.
Was it good growing up in Chicago?
Yeah, it was. At the time, it was great. It was wonderful. You know, I mean, it wasn't like the shooting gallery it is today.
Are we talking? I don't want to sort of like give your age away, but I mean, are you talking what 40s? Is that right? Am I right?
Yeah, I was born 49.
49. Okay,
yeah.
So basically, growing up in the 50s.
Right. Yeah, great time. Good times.
Growing up in the 50s, a little bird tells me. Of course, I mean, you were down on is it Maxwell Street?
Oh, well, that's a story. See,
okay.
I was born in Chicago, then grew up in a suburb near North. And every summertime in between school, I'd go and stay with my aunt and my uncles. And they lived in a typical, what you would think of, they had a house with the L train running in the back, you know, and I used to sleep on the back porch, and I hear that L train all the time. But on Sunday after church, we would go down to Maxwell Street, which was a street that originally was called Jewtown because most of the proprietors were Jewish. They would take all their stuff, weather permitting, they put it out in the streets like a flea market, what we call a flea market now. And they would give electric lines to all the blues players that would, you know, maybe the night before they were playing at a house party or at some joint down the south side, they came down there and would play for tips. And so I would go there.
Good vibe?
A
good vibe.
Oh yeah, great vibe. You know, it was music, and I saw so many different people. And my aunt Helen used to take me, and she'd sit me down, and whoever was, you know, so you could sit a kid down and not worry about him, you know.
In them days.
Yeah, and sometimes she would look for this lady Hazel, this black lady who would watch me. And if she couldn't find me, she'd just tell me just to stay down there. And then I used to drive them crazy on the way home because I mean, you know, I don't. You know, I saw so many people down there, so many different artists, you know, over the different summers.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken to Matthew on the side. I mean, we talked a lot before, didn't we, about you meeting all these, so many artists and all these people that were coming up, which you enjoyed as well. And we had a great one. But you've got sisters, haven't you?
Yeah. But
are they older or younger or?
Older teenage sisters. They were at that time. In 1955, I was 6 years old. All right, so when I would go down there, they would sit me down. You know, the only live bands I probably ever heard to that point was like a polka band at a wedding or something. You know.
What is a polka band? Tell me.
It's a Polish music.
Polish music.
Yeah, it's very popular in Chicago.
Polish
music.
Yeah.
Polish music. Okay, all right, got it. Okay, all right.
Very popular in Chicago.
Was it
for weddings?
You remember that, Matt?
Yeah, didn't they use accordions a lot?
Yeah, accordini.
Accordini.
Yeah.
Is that the?
Yeah, roll out the barrel.
Oh, is that what it? Oh, roll out red barrel. Yeah, they did all that, did they?
Well, that was popular for weddings and stuff like that. I had a cousin who even played clarinet in one of the bands.
So are you the youngest? I mean, if you've got these girls in front of you.
I was the youngest, but at that Maxwell Street, that's why I got my blues vaccination, man.
Your blues vaccination, I like that. That was a syringe about that big, was it? Just full of like.
I never heard anything like that before, you know. And I would go on the way home. I'd be jumping on the back seat, you know, whatever the hook was that they were singing, you know, got my mojo working, whatever it was. I'd be drive my uncle.
So
crazy.
when people say, where did you come from and how did you like it? Well, back in the 50s, I got a shot in the arse and I love the blues. That was it. Yeah, you was off, weren't you?
That's it.
That's how it happens. I mean, what about the sock hop? What is
well,
that?
that's going back to my sisters. I had 3 older sisters who are all teenagers, you know, and because there is a little difference between my age and my youngest sister, and they would play the radio all the time. One of the first songs I ever heard was.
No, I'm sorry.
You've heard that probably in a million movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think it was in Pulp Fiction, and but it's Link.
Yes.
It's Link Ray's Rumble, and it was. I heard that stuff. I was going, and they would use me as a dance partner, you know. So I learned all those 50 kind of jitterbug stuff, and the moving, throwing around, all that kind of stuff. But then when I was still probably in grade school, they took me to a sock hop at
What is a sock hop? Do you know?
At high school. What it is they take the gym. And they put a bandstand up, and they bring. This was a radio DJ from WLS who was very popular, and Jim Lonsberry also had a teenage dance party show on TV, and then everybody had to take their shoes off and dance in their socks because it was a gym floor. It was a gym floor.
Did you know that as well, Matt? Did you know that? Sock hop, did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you sit at the end of the table. Yeah, I didn't know that.
You got to live in America, David.
I'm from
You got to
England.
come to America and do
I'm
your
from
dues,
England.
man.
I mean, I feel as like, you know, I've got all these dudes in here from the other side of the pond, and they're all looking at me going, "You don't know what a sock hop is, boy?"
Well, my sister took me to one, and the band playing was the Galaxies, and the guys, Jimmy Hoff was singing up for, what was his name? Jimmy Hoff, Struthoff was his real name. But anyway, Danny Pollock was the drummer, and they were called the Galaxies. And when I used to hitchhike, because when I was getting older, Danny would always stop and pick me up, and he had this beautiful Buick Riviera convertible, you know, with the 45 record player. And we ride around with
Sock hop. I'm gonna remember that sock hop.
He'd
I like that.
he'd let me ride around with him, and he'd have played those records, and you know, it was Rockin' Robin and
Rocky Robbie Diddley.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. Yeah,
Well,
just to think
you're
about
going to play a track for us. I mean, Bobby, we got a track all lined up, yeah? What is this? What is
okay,
the track?
this is what was a great accomplishment for me on the guitar, and it's what I grade other guitar players by is how they play this song. And this is a Freddie King song, which is my favorite of the Kings. It's called "This Hideaway."
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That was good. I like that. And do you know what really makes me mad is when you watch somebody like him playing and it's just like effortless, gliding. You really pee me off.
That's funny. Somebody told me that once. She says, "You make it look too easy."
You do. Okay, so let's
It's fairly complicated.
That picture that Bobby showed up there was one of my first bands. It was my second guitar, actually.
Your second guitar. What was your first guitar?
My first guitar was Sears Roebuck. The guy that's next to me, he's playing one just like the one I had. We had matching guitars. They were.
Do you know what me and you have in common? That you got your first guitar in 1961.
Yeah.
And I was born in 1961.
1961.
So there, connection. I found the connection.
But you didn't get the guitar when you were born. Oh, sorry.
First band in what? 19.
This is 61. This is my sister, my youngest sister's wedding, and I had to beg her to play, because we didn't know what we were doing. we were, like two guitars, drums. The demise of this group is fairly funny. Speaking of polkas that we were doing before, the guy playing guitar is Ted Gitsky, and the guy on the drums is what was his name? Bobby.
Pretty cool.
Another Polish name, but anyway, I came to rehearsal one day, and you know what a quarter-vox is? It's like an electric accordion, but you don't have to squeeze it because it just play it like this.
Okay.
It has,
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's called a quarter-vox. Well, they had this kid there that was a quarter-vox player, and they wanted to be a polka band, and I said, "Well, okay, see ya."
But you had your first band. I'm just going to go off a few notes you've given me. First band, 1963.
Yeah, that's about 1963.
Yeah, and then the second band you had was 1964, which was Surfside.
Well, this is this band here. This is they're called the Challengers, and I'm
Great picture. I like that.
I'm 15 years old there. I'm playing bass, but I started with this band playing piano, and I used to rent a electric piano Wurlitzer for $20 a week or a month. And I used to make a lot of money playing in the band. And they were all older. They had to come pick me up for the gigs. And I was still in high school. I didn't drive yet. I was only 15. And we played a lot of weird, dangerous places. This was actually a place we played. It was what we call a union job. When you belong to the musicians union, they call you up. They were having concerts at the lakefront in Waukegan, Illinois. And so that was what we were playing there.
I like all these kind of old photos and the clips that just take you way back in time, because when you talk to people in the studio, like we talked to Matthew in the past and that, until you see the sort of like the pictures and it takes you back in time, you can put you get a better focus and a better story of what you did in the past.
Another connection. When I went to see that sock hop, Billy Hoff, who was the singer, he was playing bass in that band when I started.
Wow!
And he left, and I took over the bass spot.
What about after high school? Though? I mean,
after high school.
I mean, you went on to like Michael. Is it Michael and the Messengers?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's all real quick. This all happened real good. So that was through high school, and then I ended up after that band. I played with the drummer Danny Pollock. I was learning a lot because I was playing with older guys, and I started playing with Danny. I started playing guitar with a trio bass and him playing, and he was the guy who was he took me to Surfside the first time to help him set up his gear for a gig that he had there with the band he was playing with, but the band that I played with him at was this place called the Sail Inn, which is about 6 blocks from my house, and all the time I played there, the owner was in jail for shooting the cook.
So you never seen the owner,
or the cook.
What about where do we sort of fit in the Michael and the Messages and the New York City?
The picture before that was after I graduated from high school. I put together a group with actually some high school guys, friends of mine that were still in high school, and we were playing up at Majestic Hills in Lake Geneva. We were opening for this band. They had already had records out in the Chicago area. Same record company as the Buckinghams. I don't know if you ever remember that band. And USA Records. And they had a fight with their guitar player that night and used the guise of being interested in our recording that we had made to come down to the studio, and I got down there and they asked me to join the band. And 2 weeks later, I was in New York City.
But I mean, it says here. I mean, I'm going off your notes. So I'm trying to guide us through. New York City. You went. What? You was down there playing in the band, and then you ended up going back.
What happened was the Buckinghams. They had a big hit with kind of the drag and stuff like that. They sent them out to the West Coast to play, to tour, and they got signed with the record company out there. Well, they said that they did the same thing, but only they sent us to the East Coast. And so we were living in New York City. I was living in Greenwich Village. And we would play up and down the coast and up in the Catskill Mountains and places like that.
I mean, we're talking here 60s. I mean, you know all about 60s, and most of us, I don't because I'm a little bit younger.
This is about 67. So.
I mean, great.
So move quick, you know. I mean, like I'm probably only 18 and 19 years old. This band.
But after New York City, of course, you're moving back to Chicago, yeah?
Yeah, I came back. The band came back to Chicago, and the record company was kind of losing interest because I guess nothing happened for us on the West Coast, or on the East Coast. So I left the band, and
everybody sort of chop and changes through bands, Bobby. Is that right? I mean, in the 60s, I mean, when we spoke to Matthew before, you were saying the same. It was like you got the drummer from here, the guitarist from there, and it was like everybody was.
It's like a marriage times 3 or 4 or 5, you know, consolidated.
Am I right, Matthew?
Absolutely. There was so many.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, listen. Even now, I'm cutting out the insignificant bands.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you know, we're trying to cram into the show as much as we can.
There are many that never even made a gig.
Yeah, yeah, and there's also I mean, we spoke about this on past shows where there's a lot of work gone into like getting the band together, doing everything ready, and then suddenly. They dispersed. They don't want to. We spoke to who was the guy that was
Brian Thomas.
Brian Thomas, Ike and Tina Turner, and one of the bands that really could have made it with their backing got right to where Ike and Tina Turner goes. Right, okay, guys, you can back us. You can come on tour with us. Are you ready? And they all went, yeah. And the next day they all disappeared. And Brian was left on his own, wasn't he? Yeah. They'd all gone.
That's kind of what happened with Michael and the Messengers when we got back. New York was great, man. I mean, we were living in Greenwich Village. I mean, first day we went in there, they're having this big street art sale, all over the streets. So art all over the place. It was great. We had a really good agent there, Premier Talents, which was really good. And we used to play all up and down in the Vanilla Fudge had just been the last.
Vanilla Fudge.
There were three big New York organ bands. The first one was Joey D and the Starlighters. They was pumped by that Hammond organ, and then the next one was Young Rascals.
Yep.
And then Vanilla Fudge, and we were going in places they had just played, and the next band that was supposed to make it was a band called the Vagrants. All right. The guitar player, Leslie West, he went on to do other things.
Was it like, I mean, I've spoken to Matthew on other shows about, when he went into New Orleans and all this, and he did all these things, and he was walking up and down and going into places and meet all these different artists. It was just like a camaraderie where everybody sort of just mingled and that. You had some great times, didn't you? I mean, we were spoken to Matthew before. Was it like that with you guys?
We were staying at this place called the Hotel Albert, which has a whole history in itself. Hotel Albert. Look it up sometime. It was a crazy place. A lot of musicians played there while we were staying there. Canned Heat was there. But Love and Spoonful used to rehearse in the basement. They offered us to rehearse in the basement, but it was...
Was that in New York?
Yeah.
New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that place.
Yeah, oh man, it was wild. And then I was...
Great place, lots of TVs though.
Yeah. No, none of the rooms had TVs.
Yeah, exactly.
Cockroaches didn't watch it.
My point exactly. We're gonna play another tune, aren't we, Bobby? Yeah.
Yeah.
We got another. Are you coming in on this one, Matt? Are you?
I don't know.
Which one we playing, Bobby? What we got?
No idea.
Jump Blues and B flat.
What we're playing?
Oh no,
Jump.
no. Let's just save that one for.
Let's do an acoustic tune.
Oh, okay, all right, good. Matthew, you okay? I mean, it's you like all this music career and stuff. It's nice, isn't it, to see what other people have done?
Absolutely, yeah, it's fun.
What I was going to say is that in the village, when we weren't working, I could walk down to Washington Square, and there's all kinds of people working out, doing comedians and musicians. And then you walk down to the West Village, and I walked in a place called Tin Angel in It was Van Morrison doing Brown Eyed Girls, which just came out.
Mm-hmm.
He was in there playing it.
Wow.
I saw Cream at the Cafe Go-Go when they were there doing Disraeli Gears. And it was just a great place. And the band Vagrants, we used to play out of this place called the Action House on Long Island, Long Beach, Long Island. And they had 2 stages, and we played with the Vagrants all the time. And Leslie West, who went on to be Mountain, band Mountain, he and I became friends. You know, I'd go to his apartment in Queens. And
Sounds like a really, really good guitar. Bobby, are we okay with the guitar and everything? Are you in on this? Are you in on this, Matt? Are you?
I'm not sure. I mean, if it feels good, I'll jump jump in.
If it feels good, you jump in, my darling.
Yeah.
Or is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. What's this one called, Snowman?
it's called, this is a Howlin' Wolf song called Top of the World, Sitting on Top of the World.
Okay, guys, you take it away and
I
enjoy
want to make sure I
yourselves.
can hear the guitar.
Yeah. Can you just try first?
Is that okay, Bobby?
Or do you want the microphone down onto the guitar more
I think it's good. I think it's working okay.
for Matthew to listen to?
Yeah, it'd be better if I can hear a little bit more of the
Okay.
guitar.
All right. Let's move it around.
Can I move this one now?
No, we move the other one that you're talking to there. Yeah. There we go. Bit better for you. How's that?
That's better. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? There we go. You see, it's all live technology. This is, forget all your Wi-Fi. We just go why. Why? Okay, guys, up to you. Snowman and Matthew Kelly, take it away whenever you like.
One summer day, she went away. She gone and left me. She gonna stay. Now she gone. I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world. I work hard through the summer. I work through the fall. Work so hard, I had to take Christmas in my overall. Now she gone, I don't worry, I'm sitting on top of the world. Matthew. Going down to the freight yard, catch me a freight train. Know the work done got hard. When she's gone, I don't worry, 'cause I'm sitting on top of the world.
Like it. I like that. Did you like that?
Yeah,
That was a bit of a easy vibe, wasn't it? That one. But where was that from? Can we get that? Can we get your microphone back up? We'll bring.
I get that.
We'll bring the Bobby, the technology man. Is that all right? You okay with that one?
That's better. Yeah. I
think it's
a
got a
little
bit of-
rest on that one.
Got a bit of a limp on that
Have
one.
to
I
be
think.
moving it back and forth anyway. It's a Howlin' Wolf number.
Good. I like it. I like it. It was nice as just a laid back song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the first songs that I think the Grateful Dead recorded that on their first album. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of different versions of that song.
Mm.
This one, I like it. You've heard 10 or 12-bar blues and 8-bar blues. That's a 10-bar blues.
Can I take you into the 1970s? And of course, on your notes here, you've got Heads Up, Mayor Daley. What is that?
Mayor Daley.
What is that?
Mayor Daley was the mayor of Chicago, and he was his son he became mayor later. But the Mayor Daley machine was what ran Chicago. It was a big thing. And what happened is after I got back from New York and split, I ran into some guys. We started a band, and we were doing just covers. And but my keyboard player was studying to be a classical pianist. He played Hammond organ, and I came to rehearsal one day, and he was rehearsing something that he was learning at school. I said, "Hey, that's great, man." I said, "Show me that," because that's how I always learned, And so he gave me some stuff, and when the other two guys got together, we put it all together, and we started doing this classical rock. We were doing all these classical rock pieces. We did Dance Macabre, Peer Gynt Suite, Hold the Mountain King, and William Tell Overture. That's what we did. We played that in Mayor Daley's office, and this was for a kickoff of the Reach Out program, where we had free lunches for the kids in schools in the summertime, and concerts, and we did 2 concerts, and one of them was at the Grant Park. Oh, there's a picture of Mayor Daley. We're playing in his office. I have a funny story about that.
In his office?
Yeah. It's where he does his press conferences. So we went in there and we played the William Tell Overture. I know
that one, you see.
Yeah. And we had a great agent. This guy was just getting us on all kinds of great stuff, and he got us. This was not only good promo for them, but good promo for the band. We were doing some good stuff.
So on your list there, I mean, am I going to say this right? Soldiers Field.
Soldiers Field was you got
Soldiers
that one
Field,
up there,
okay.
Bobby? This is a concert we played at Soldiers Field, and
Soldiers Field.
and it's the football. This is the concert at Grant Park. Let's see how many people are there. There's thousands of people, and we opened for Sly Stone.
So, well, I used to play that stuff, so I mean, I know. There you go. I see, I'm not that bad, am I?
He was notorious for not showing up, right? So,
yeah, absolutely.
So we played, and we put our stuff in our van, and then we sat by the side of the stage.
Sly and the Family
And
Stone.
they had, in the front, they had like it fenced off, about 10 feet, in front of the stage. And look, you see the amount of people there, right? Well,
there's a few.
He was late, and every 15 minutes they were out there. He's on his way. And after about an hour, they got disgusted with it, and the people in the front started throwing rocks and bottles and stuff at the stage, and we had to get back because it was bouncing against the instruments on the stage. And then the people further back started throwing stuff. The people in the back couldn't hit the stage; they were hitting the people in the front. And so the people in the front started turning around. They turned around, started throwing stuff at people. And this is what it ended up. This picture here is what it ended up, man. And we were driving out of there, watching all these squad cars on fire. And this was like a year after the Democratic Convention, where they had all
this is just because the guy can't turn up on time.
You were talking about watching the Chicago 7. This is, right after that Democratic Convention. So,
what can we say? And that was on your list. You've got California, of course, which is what we're talking about now. Yeah, California's a lot of it. Sly and the Family Stone. I remember those. I remember playing. Matthew, you know that? Did you sort of like that kind of era?
Sly in the Family Stone, of course.
Yeah.
I actually played with Sly's mother, Sly Stone's mother.
We won't get into that.
I was going to say we're not going there, we, Bobby.
No.
Matthew playing with Sly Stone's mother. We can't go there, can we?
Something about Heads Up that I wanted to tell you about was.
Yeah, sure.
I was getting gas one day, and this guy pulls up and says, "You Ken Minahan?" I says, "Yeah." I says, "You're the guy I'm supposed to talk to about music in this town." And this guy started going on how he wanted to open up this club, have bands and all that stuff. So. My band, it doesn't matter, the band that did the classical stuff, we were the house band to open this club up. And, it was a drug-fueled club, it was all supported by it. You remember those tickets you used to get where you rip off one and give it to them and the other we put in a drawing or something? Well, if you were in the know, there was blotter acid on that ticket.
Okay, so you got the one that you could lick.
You chewed it.
You chewed it, yeah.
Chewed it, swallowed it, Yeah. And we did the 1812 Overture, all right? And we debuted it on New Year's Eve, 1969, at this club. All right. And I went around Christmas, and I recorded the church bells for the bells part, in
In the song, yeah.
da, 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 da. And when it got to the part where dun 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 dun, and the cannons were, my two roadies came out with my shotguns and the people in the audience were like, they're all stoned out, and I never made a blank cartridge before. My dad was quite a hunter, so I was throwing guns a lot. So I didn't put any wadding in it. I just filled it all with black powder. And so the room, had a low ceiling, lower than this even, and then it started filling up with that gunpowder smoke, and the smell.
Well, and what were these guys? I mean, you just said that these guys come in and they chew the ticket. Yeah, what was on the ticket? Acid, you say,
Yeah.
So can you you can set the scene, can't you, Matthew? All these guys chewing these pieces of tickets with acid on, smoke in the air, guns going off, and they're going, "Is this real, man? Is this real? I'm on a party."
The expressions on the people's face was priceless, man.
I was going to say, yeah.
I wish I would have had a camera. But another thing that happened was when we went to play at Mayor Daley's office, we pulled in the underground parking, and we opened the doors of the van, and how if you didn't have any siding, it was just an empty van. We had the shotguns stuck in there. And man, the police were on us in a minute.
I was going to say, having stuff like. So which is the Mike O'Day? I mean,
that's after. What happened was after the concert in Soldiers Field, which if you looked at that schedule. We were on there with Chicago, with Leon Russell, and we got top billing over some of those people.
Wow.
Which was our agent was real. Our booking agent.
So the name of your band at the time was.
It doesn't matter.
That was the name of it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because you're always trying to find a band name, and so after that was in like. That concert happened.
So this is the Mike O'Day time. Then you had
that happened in 1970, and I think it was
70s, yeah.
And then in October I left. I went out to California. My friend and I drove out in his Volkswagen.
So this is the band without Mike away.
No. This is. I went out because the reason that band broke up is that they had a sister club in Sacramento, California, and that band came to play at ours, and they stole our drummer. And so we didn't. That's what that.
This keeps happening, doesn't it? He stole our drummer. He stole us.
Yeah. And so anyway, so we were going out to meet them because a lot of people when the club finally got closed down, a lot of people moved out to California, out to Sacramento, and so I was on my way to L.A. and as a matter of fact, I went to L.A. But Bobby, you spent time in L.A.?
Very little.
Well, you go into L.A.
A little bit, yeah.
You go into L.A. and you stand on any street corner and yell out any guitar players, and people start coming out of the windows, and everybody's a guitar player.
There's many
and great players.
Really good ones.
And everybody was working for nothing. You had to pay the clubs to
get you in there.
Yeah,
but in those days,
so I was used to working in a band all the time, full time.
But was there any? I'm only going because I've listened to Matthew's stories in the past, and Brian's and everybody else has been there. And now you're in here telling your story, and the one thing I sort of get in my head about it, was there any such thing in those days as loyalty? Was there what you would say they were loyal to the band 100%, or was there always that chance that they would be gone?
It's always a chance that they would be gone because it's like being married to 4 or 5 other people. You're traveling together, especially when you're on the road and stuff like that. You're eating together. You're sleeping in the hotels.
But more pressure. Do you think there's more pressure in them days than there is today? Because like when I listen to all the stories of the 60s and 70s and all the bands that were going around at that time with some great people around. It's sort of like they were chopping and changing quite a lot. You've said it yourself today.
They were. And I went out there, and that band offered me a job because they didn't have a guitar player. But they were what I call a welfare band. They all were either married to a woman who had kids or had a girlfriend that had kids and on welfare. And they do a job up
a welfare band.
They do a job up. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? They do a job up in the Sierra Mountains, for a bunch of hippies up there once a month or something like that, and not get paid anything. And I was working musician. I was out to work, So. First band I got in with a guy, Freddie's band. He was a Mexican guy and his brother. He played congas and sang, and his brother played drums, and I had a black guitar player and a black keyboard player. I was surprised because California was supposed to be such a liberal place, you know, and I would go to clubs and they would ask me, how many blacks do you draw, how many, you know, in the 70s, and how many.
Unbelievable.
One guy was a Mexican himself that owned the club, and he asking me how many Mexicans we draw, you know? and we used to play at this place called La Cabana Club, and this was a real piece of work. At nighttime, the pavement outside glistened from all the broken glass. You know, I mean, it looked like somebody had put sequins everywhere. And one night I was playing, and over the loudness of the band, I saw this guy hit this older big woman so hard I could hear it over the band. She went down. The end of the night, she was at the corner of the bar drinking with her face all swollen. And one night, a guy came in with a bow and arrow, hunting bow and arrow, a black guy.
Sounds like a good place.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody was looking at it like, well, you know, is this guy gonna freak out or something? You know.
What is on your? This is intriguing me a bit there. What is Zaz?
Oh, that's coming up later.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So wait,
Yeah. So anyway, I finally got into a band where they weren't questioning us. You know, some Filipino guys, a Mexican guy, and I was playing at this club called the Berry Patch, and Mike O'Day came in. He was looking for a guitar player, and it was 6 nights a week. I had to fly to Portland to join the band, and I flew to the band. I flew there, and that picture that Bobby showed before with the 70s collars, you know, that was Mike O'Day. It was a guitar, drums, and a Hammond organ player who played foot pedals. Yeah, San Marino boots. He was big on those. And then he was a singer, and she was a singer out front. And we back. This is the band.
What is the kind of music you're playing there? I mean, you know,
top 40 music. You know.
So that is like a pop group.
Yeah. And Mike was as a kid was on California Hayride as a little Mike. You know, he played guitars and stuff. And he sometime in his career he had played in Vegas, and he always wanted to play back there. So he was always talking about playing Vegas. But that band is the band that I quit drinking with.
It's a tip. You know, this is a, you know, because I mean, you're coming now to where I sort of like started the DJing kind of thing. Yeah. But these kind of pictures that we're showing now, Bobby, these were all over. I mean, as I was an artist, as a DJ, and the bands were coming to play at the places, well, they also got posters of the bands that were coming to play at the club, and they all look like that.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah, I mean, it's true though. I think they all had the same photographer.
We ended up playing this place in Phoenix where they had a showroom and they had a lounge, and we were playing in the lounge, and they had these big bands with the horns and stuff in the showroom. And he, like I said, he wanted to go back to playing Vegas again. So,
but this is pop. Pop songs, yes.
We went to Alaska we were supposed to go up there to Woodshed in this bar in Anchorage, and it's called the Fancy Moose.
Let's go to Alaska and play in the Fancy Moose.
And we were promised meals when we got up there, and there were no meals.
Get nothing, yeah.
And it was miles from town, and they didn't have anything up there then. You know, I mean, it was still pretty rugged. And we were told we could woodshed there, but we were playing. Was this
through agents? Snowman?
Agents.
I mean, you know, because I mean, the ones I know, and of course, probably Matthew go with is in the days, you know, when they used to book the DJs, they booked the bands. Yeah. You work with an agent from so and so, but they had all these different venues spread. Yeah. You know, one day you'd be in Alaska, or whatever. The next day you'd be in Italy.
This is where he sent his bands to woodshed. You know, and then the housing that they gave us was relief housing for when they had the earthquake up there, and it was right on the edge of Lake Spenard, which is the world's largest seaplane lake. So at daybreak, over the rooms, one seaplane after another. You know?
Wow!
And it was funny about that because I bought a Winchester 3030 when I was up there. It was wild up there. At that time, it was like a cross between Chicago Prohibition and old Wild West, you know. And
did they have? I mean, I'm just a question because I've been to some cold places as well and done a few things. Did they have the old moonshine up there?
Oh yeah.
Did they have the potato wine that they used to make?
What they had was lighthouses, and what it was a shot. It had something in it that flamed up, and what they would do is they would 6-pack you. In other words,
Okay.
6-pack my friend. So you would get 6 drinks.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so they would 6-pack the band. Now you got to figure all these, trays of these flaming drinks coming to this.
This is like 100% proof stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, because I know from the north of Norway, they used to come out with this like moonshine stuff, yeah? And we used to drink it up there. And anything they didn't drink, they used to put in the car. Because it was alcohol and they could just drive off on it. It was amazing.
My saxophone player went out to the parking lot with some girl after the thing, and we had rehearsal. And he, all his saxophones were and stuff. And he came, he knocked down the back door, after everything was all cleared out. Excuse me.
Okay.
All cleared out. Knocked down the back door. And the owners and the bartenders and the bouncers all made everybody get down. They flipped the tables up, and they all pointed these guns at the door, and then they opened it. My saxophone player was a little guy, and he opened the door, and all these guns are pointing at him, because that's what kind of place it was. It was crazy.
Nice place.
Yeah. Well, listen, that band I told you about, the first 2 guys were in the band when we went up there. We just added horns to it, but those guys are the guys that made me quit drinking. We got kicked out of 3 titty bars on Anchorage. If you know how hard that is, they were serious.
They were serious. So where does this? I'm intrigued. Zaz. What is this Zaz?
Okay.
Tell me.
What happened was is this band split away from O'Day because the agent offered us to go to Hawaii. So we did that. We played there 10 weeks at a time.
That's a mean fashion there. You do know that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's a mean fashion.
And they had a sister club on Hawaii, the Big Island, called the Naniloa Surf. We played that. And then that band broke up after about a year, and then Mike came in looking for me and to put another band together. So this is the second time I work for Mike, and now he's really gung-ho on putting a Las Vegas band together. And it didn't work out, and you see me and the drummer from that other band, we put Zaz together. Now, this was a great band. It's rare that you find a band that nobody has any bad habits, smokes or drinks. Everybody could sing, dance.
Gels together.
Sing, dance, play multiple instruments, no bad habits, had the same goals in mind, and we're all very, really talented. As a matter of fact, what happened with this band is I got turned on to an agent named Marino Zara, and he worked for Kevin Hunter Associates, which were their 2 big acts were Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Natalie Cole. And we used to play at the Bonaventure Hotel in Los Angeles and stuff, and I used to have these fly-by-night kind of rock and roll agents coming in wanting to book the band or manage the band. But I waited until this happened, and so they flew me down from Sacramento. And their offices were right across the street from the Roxy. I could look down the Roxy, and slept at their house in the hills. Picked me up in a Mercedes convertible. I'm going, oh yeah, I get used to this. And
so Zaz, the band Zaz. What kind of music were you playing at the time?
We were
then?
a show band.
Show band in the way of like full blown entertainment, like cruise ship kind of band.
80% of the places we played did not have dance floors.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't have dance floors.
Did you put that 50s one up there, Rocco Vaseline? Did you put that one up there? This was our 50s show.
Did many when you played in gigs and that, did they have dance floors or no dance floors?
Well, some had dance floors.
Yeah.
But
I think it's the next one.
Yeah, it's a different
Yeah,
kind
Okay.
This was the 50s show we did, Rocco Vaseline and the Jets. You can do the next one, too. Okay, and that's me. That's me. I can't do that anymore.
You can't do that anymore.
Anyway,
that's a pretty cool picture, though.
They called it the critic. One critic said a theater of the absurd, surrounded by 50s rock and roll. And but we did that. We did all kinds of different shows. That was one of the big ones. But anyway,
you're gonna play us another track, yes?
Yes.
Let's have some music because I like the music. It's good. Do you want to play acoustic?
I was just getting in to tell you the story of Zaz.
You can come back. You can come back with it. It's not a problem. There's no format. Well, there is a format, but sort of like there is a format, but we try and keep it all formatic. Are you okay? I mean, Matt's gonna go there. You okay on that one? Are we all right? Are you okay with everything?
Is that better?
This one is in A?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one I wrote. This would have went better on the Piano Bob, because this is on our album, Piano Bob and the Snowman album, which is coming up on here.
Good.
And that's my partner. We won the IBC, the International Blues Challenge, and the B.B. King Lucille Award.
Cool, nice one. All right.
So this is one, and this is also at a point where I moved to Miami.
All right.
All right.
And this is called, sorry?
You know what? Maybe I won't do that. I'll save this one for when we get to that part.
You can do whatever you want to do. It's your show.
This is a song, one of the first songs I ever wrote.
And this is in what format? Are you in this format?
Same A.
Same A. There you go.
Push that raft out in the water. Get them poles like you oughta. It's Sunday, boss man resting. Tomorrow, back to picking. But today I'm fishing the Wabash Riverbed. Catfish big as your leg. Swim right up to the side of the boat and beg. And when the boat gets full, your mouth begins to drool for some smoked catfish from the Wabash Riverbed. All right. Big cops all week. Count day by day. Sunday morning, sing some hymns and I'm on my way to the Wabash Riverbed. Can I get you to do this? Come on. Catfish big as your leg. Swim right up to the side of the boat and beg. And when the boat gets full, your mouth begins to drool for some smoked catfish from the Wabash Riverbed. For some smoked catfish from the Wabash Riverbed. For some smoked catfish from the Wabash Riverbed.
Yeah, that's what we like. Feel that, baby. Feel that, baby.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd squeeze the chicken in here.
Yeah, you got to squeeze the chicken in there. Do you want to put your mic back up and join Matthew? That was good, yeah.
Yeah, I never heard that song
Well,
before.
we had a bit of vibe going. We had a bit of vibe going there, didn't we? Hey, felt good.
Just something I thought of.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Rich is over in the corner going, "Yeah, I like your studio, man. I like your studio, man."
I recorded that years ago when I was still living in Chicago. And I was working at a studio doing commercials, and I lost the tape somewhere. I don't know what happened to it.
Well, you take us into the 80s because we're I'm sort of following.
Okay.
I'm sort of following your story
So
here.
Zaz, we got
Zaz.
this agent, this great agent who's really locked in. All of a sudden, overnight, our venues get better, and we were already playing. We were playing the Hilton in Vegas, the Flamingo in Vegas. We were playing Bally's Park Place in Atlantic City. Every dirt town in Nevada, from Wendover to Elko to Carson City,
Winnemucca.
Winnemucca. That's right past Elko, between Elko and Laughlin is down south there. We used to do that anyway, and we were doing hotels. But suddenly we got into a whole different circuit where, we were making great money. We would get rooms in the hotel. We do like 2 shows a night, get meals. They do a laundry. It was great. And we were working around doing that great. Everything was going good. And they had told me, and I never told, this is coming out now for the first time, because I never told the band members. And the reason I learned that from Mike O'Day.
because whenever he would get an offer to do something, he would tell the band, and then if it didn't come through, everybody was
down and out.
right.
Yeah.
So I never said this to the band. So if they are listening to this, if this gets back to them,
We got an exclusive, guys. We got an exclusive.
Well, they wanted to groom us. They were going to put us together with writers, and they were going to groom us for a TV show. And that was the whole plan for our band. Well, so we're out there, we're doing good and everything. We're playing all these places. Now we're in Texas. We're in Dallas. Thunderbird, Mockingbird, Mockingbird Hilton, and great gig, but it's getting close to the end of the gig, and he hasn't told us yet. And they had just taken over booking us and stuff, so I would get where we're going. A lot of times towards the end of the gig, but now it's getting to the last day, and I'm calling, and finally the gig is over. He says, "Oh, just hold up there. I got something for you," and he calls us after a couple of days of us laying over there. He calls us and he sends us to Farmington, New Mexico. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I've never been there.
I had never been there either.
I've never been there. Have you been there?
No.
Have you been there?
No.
Richard, have you been there? No, there you go. Unanimous decision.
It's in the middle of reservations, and you know how there was going out of town. There were these two bars. One was called Turquoise Bar. I forget what the other one was. And you know how they have the guy walking across the street? Well, somebody had painted a hat with a feather in it, a bottle. It was drunken Indian crossing.
Yeah.
But we played in this town, and we went from doing 2 shows a night to doing 4 dance sets a night. Right? They gave us a band house, and I don't know if you know what those are like.
No.
Okay, imagine somebody rents a house or a condo or a townhouse or something, and you got 20, 30 bands going through there a year.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's holes in the walls, there's things growing in the refrigerator.
They always left the houses tidy after they leave. Is that right?
Always great. No towels, and you can't leave anything there because everybody in the town knows
that window wasn't there last week.
You can't leave anything there because everybody knows that's the band house, and they're gonna
wreck it.
Or no, they're going to steal from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, we're making $2,500 a night. I mean, we were making almost $1,000 a piece.
Wow.
On the gigs we were doing.
Happy days.
But now all of a sudden this is happening. I go, what the hell's going here? He says, don't worry, it's just an in between thing. So it gets to the end of the job, and now he doesn't have. We were there for 2 weeks, 2 miserable weeks. He didn't have a thing. So everybody else went back to Sacramento, and I went down to L.A. to see what was going on, and I had a Betamax, and I was filming the band and everything, and I showed him, and I was showing him the film, and he wasn't really paying attention to it, but he went over and turned it off, kind of pissed me off, and he said, look, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back to Sacramento. I want you to pay everybody per diem. I want you to work with the band. I'll come up and work with you. I got people who are going to put money behind you guys. New equipment, new
promises.
Well, I mean, he hyped me up again. So I went back to Sacramento. I got a place to rehearse and supported the whole thing for a while. And I kept calling down there to find out what's going on. First of all, I can't get the money right now. I can't come up. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't getting him. I was just getting the
helper, the secretary,
the receptionist. Yeah, and I knew her. She's a nice lady. As a matter of fact, the last time I called, she said, "Honey, just worry about yourself."
Ding dong, the bells are going.
Well, you know what? Do you remember when Natalie Cole had her nervous breakdown?
Yes.
And then later, when it was cool to be a rehab, she said it was a freebase habit.
That's right.
Well, the freebase habit went through the whole agency. And I'm serious. It destroyed everything.
And this is when? Is it Miami Beach for 1986? Am I right on that one?
Yeah, well, this happened. What happened before that is that now I have a band with no work. So I had to call somebody.
With no work.
Yeah, whether we were making good money. And so I had to call in some favors and call people in. This lady that I booked through, she got me back into the Bonaventure Hotel in Los Angeles. And then she put us on a USO tour. And we went to Hawaii, where we got our shots and stuff. And then we went to Japan, Okinawa, Korea, back to Japan, Philippines, and Guam. That's where I got my taste for the Orient.
And this is with the band?
Yeah, with the band.
Playing?
The band Zaz.
Sass. Okay,
yeah.
so you're still playing the popular music kind of stuff, yeah?
We were doing some of our show and some dance because it was actually a tour that Bob Hope was supposed to make. It was over Christmas and New Year's, but he was sick. It's just before he died.
Was you one of these bands that, like, if you, let's say, for example, if you was going to the Philippines or whatever, would you say, you know, over there, what's the top tune at the moment? What's the top, you know, song at the moment, whatever? And would you learn that and put that into your set?
Some you know, we used to
for the locals, you know.
But we used to when we had the band together, we actually had Billboard subscriptions, and we would watch things that were moving up the chart. And a lot of times people would come up to us and say, "Is that you guys on there, man?" Because they heard us play it before they heard it on the radio.
Right.
You know? And so we always stayed on top of that. When we were in Sacramento, we were a big band there. You know, we used to pack the place and Brian's all out of the corner. As a matter of fact, that's how we started going. We went to Lake Tahoe first because the people kind of all knew our punchlines and everything. You know, I mean, they kept coming and everything.
So what about 1986 down in Miami Beach? I mean,
yeah,
that was what?
What happened was that band broke up. And I was in Calgary, Canada. And what happened is it's a long period of how, I mean, it changed members. And the more we started traveling, the more the guys who were married dropped out until it was just me left trying to hold this band together. And we were in Calgary, Canada. And the keyboard player and bass player come to me and said, we were going to go back to Sacramento. I says, why? A band called Night Ranger, you remember them? Yeah. They got signed. And they thought the record companies were all going to be in Sacramento to sign because they wanted to sign. So okay, so we broke up. I went back. I was burned out on playing, and
so that was 86. Then you got the Surfers who.
Well, that's a little. And I thought if I could have a business to support myself, great idea, that I could play anything I wanted.
Sensible.
Right, and I was staying at a friend's house while I was trying to figure out what I was doing, and they were at work, and I found a blues radio station, program on the station. It was like a clicked in my head, you know. And I went and got my guitar because I probably hadn't touched my guitar in weeks at that point. And I started jamming with the thing. Then I found out there was a blues jam session. I started playing at the blues jam session. Then they asked me to be part of the nucleus of that.
But they do say this. I mean, I listen to artists and I listen to guitarists, and they do say if you put your guitar down for a little while, you know, if you do put your guitar down and leave it in the corner for a few weeks and then go back to it, it's a different experience and you feel more enlightened. Is that right? Am I right in saying that?
I agree with that totally.
Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
Matt, would you agree with that, Matt?
Yeah, sure.
Howard Roberts used to say that sometimes you should just put the guitar there and just look at it. Look at the neck and look at the way it's, you know.
But sometimes it's good to stand back from what you're playing or what you're doing.
Well, this was great because this clicked back to, you know, what I had, my passion in the beginning that made me want to play. And so I became a member of the jam band, and it was getting near Christmas, so we decided we had all these songs together. We go out and get some money, and we called the band Christmas Money. And then I was riding around, and one this summer, and I mean a lot of years have gone by here now, and I at this point that band turned into playing 4 nights a week, top 40 music, and I wasn't happy again, and so I saw these shaved ice stands going all over. Coming up, you know, in Hawaii, they're very popular.
Shaved ice.
Yeah.
Is that the drink shave ice?
Yeah. It's a consistency of really good packing snow.
Yeah.
It's not chunks of ice where all the flavor, you know, it's kind of suspended in.
So it's like a snowball with flavor?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. And so I stopped at this guy's thing to get one, and we were talking. He said he was a ski bum, and he sells them all summer, goes skiing all winter. I thought, okay, this is a good idea. So I found the guy that imported the machines and made the syrups, and me and my then girlfriend, now ex-wife, drove. We were looking for a place to open where wouldn't be seasonal. You know, Phoenix, I'd played a lot there. That was way too hot, and then so we decided Miami. to Florida.
Mm.
Matter of fact, we were going to call it Miami Ice, but when we got there, they were so burned out on everything.
I like that, Miami.
So I opened up Miami Beach Snowball. It's
I was going to say Miami Ice. They might take that the wrong way. Can I have a couple of kilos with some syrup, please?
Well, this Miami Beach Snowball kind of an oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp.
That sort of building reminds me like Mexican-ified, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like El Paso, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, there's a lot of South Beach. They have the Art Deco district. Those were my customers, and they were great. Just a bunch of crazy kids, man. And
that's Bobby sitting down on the floor, by the way.
Yeah. That's Waldo. Walden. His dad was a hippie.
Wow.
And he used to see what he looks like now. It's amazing. But Daryl, the guy with the top hat on, he used to carry a bunch of keys, and he had the key to the parking meters. So he would go empty out the parking meters.
One way to earn a living, isn't it?
And the guy in front, he's a lifeguard on Miami Beach and a photographer, and he's the one that I wrote the song about. He's the one.
So these all is this where the surfing comes into these guys?
The girl and the guy next to her, they're dead from drug overdoses, and the guy behind him is DJ in L.A., and that's my ex over there.
Who's your ex?
Yeah, the one in the turquoise. But that's out in front of the place. But so we had all surfers. These were all neighborhood kids.
Yeah.
South Beach rats, we call them, surf rats. But all the people from Miami would come because this was the best beach. I mean, the beach was right across the street. This is Ocean Drive, 36 Ocean Drive, and
so famous that one, isn't it? Ocean Drive, I think.
So what happened was I started putting a band together, and I put a band called So Be Blues, South Beach.
So Be Blues.
Yeah, South Beach Rhythm and Blues Project.
So Be. Is it why So Be?
South Beach.
South Beach.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a kind
Stupid.
of.
Why am I so stupid?
But
the Englishman is stupid.
We started playing at all the clubs along the Ocean Drive, the Clevelander and the Tropics and stuff like that, and
all down that area,
huh?
All down that kind of area.
All down Ocean Drive.
So we have what we're going to do? Is this where this song that you was going to do comes in?
Yeah, it's called Blue Moon Over Miami.
Okay, yeah, and this is in A, is it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you want to pull the microphone down for him, Bobby, so we can get a bit of a? You okay there? Cool.
Good enough, yeah.
You liking this, Richard? Is it okay?
Yeah.
You loving it?
This is just the Art Deco district down there is architecture from the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah.
It's the youngest. What do they call it when they save something? I forgot what. When they save something, buildings and places.
Oh, you mean
restoration?
Restoration.
Well, they did restaurate. They restorated a lot of them.
Is it protected? Is it protected?
Yeah, it's a heritage.
Heritage site. Heritage site. That's what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay. How many brains are in this room and we can't get heritage site?
It's still not the right word for it, but anyway, that's gets the point across.
It's heritage site. Okay, boy.
So it was from the 30s. It was very big in the 30s.
Good.
And in the 60s, it had its last heyday, and then people started going to the islands, and then it turned into a slum. And if you saw Scarface,
yes, I did.
When they were all living underneath that highway.
Yes.
Okay, and they moved them all.
That was like the Guatemala Bay, blah blah. Yeah.
All the hotels down on Ocean Drive, they had going to about 10% occupancy. So they heard the government was going to subsidize the housing. They all moved into that area. So when I got there, we had to fight for our place because there was a lot of bad from the Mariel boat lift.
Absolutely.
But I had some really good friends from the Mariel boat lift too.
And the sun comes from?
And it's just about what was going on down there.
Cool. All right, Matthew. It's in. Yeah, I do believe it's in A. Yeah.
She turned cold like the northern snow. Blue moon blew out of town just as fast that old wind would blow. Left a blue moon over Miami. Now she walked down the strip wearing nothing but a string. Lord, you can see the whole works swing. And she came south for some fun in the sun and left a wake of broken hearts before she was done. And she turned cold like the northern snow, blew over Miami. And she blew out of town just as fast as that old wind would blow. Left a blue moon over Miami. I took her to the tropics. She knew the whole band, and every morning a different name, and hers was written in the sand. And she never had no problem find the right Jim Dandy to fill that little button nose full of her favorite candy. And she turned cold like the northern snow, blew over Miami. And she blew out of town just as fast as that old wind would blow. Left a blue moon over Miami. South for some fun in the sun, left away with broken hearts before she was done. And she never had no problem find the right Jim Dandy to fill a little button nose full of her favorite candy. And she turned cold like the northern snow, blue moon over Miami. And she blew out of town just as fast as that old wind would blow. Left a blue moon over Miami. Left a blue moon over Miami. Left a blue moon over Miami. You know, when it started turning to be South Beach. Thank you very much. When it started turning to be South Beach, you know, a lot of these, you know,
Keep going.
Secretaries and office workers as women come down trying to live that Miami Vice experience, you know. And so it was, you got to watch a lot of...
I like that. Where does, I mean, listen, talent, pure talent, love it, enjoy it. Thank you very much, of course. But one thing that I like, which is on your list, and it was intriguing me a bit, because Piano Bob.
Well, that's
and
good.
And the Snowman, I like that.
Well, what happened was we used to, the Sotheby Blues had a jam session one night at this club in Miami Beach. And Bob, I met Bob there, and he came up to me one day and said, hey, how would you like to put a duo together, old pre-World War II blues? You know, the piano duo, Scrapper Blackwell, Leroy Carr, Big Maceo, and Tampa Red. And I said, sure, you know. So I got together with him. We learned all these songs. And it was really funny because on Wednesday night I would be playing in Coral Gables or in Coconut Grove, trying to play as big and as full as I could with the piano player. Yeah. And then on the weekends I'd be playing with this horn band, you know, going dick-a-ding, you know, trying to fit in the space, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And so what happened is that every year the National Blues Foundation, which is now called the International Blues Foundation, they're the mothership of all the blues societies around the country.
Right.
And they let each one of the blues society pick their best act and send it to Memphis to compete in the IBA, the International Blues Challenge. Mm-hmm. And we won in Miami, and we went to Memphis, and we won the Memphis.
So this is the table at the Blue Awards and the Memphis Horns. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Well, the one picture that he had there, the one with the Buddy Guy, that was our
table at the awards.
At the awards at the time. And
it's me, Buddy Guy, and Jimmy Rogers. You know that I love you. Everybody knows that song. Yeah. And Piano Bob. There's 4 of the blues awards that Buddy won, and then there's our B.B. King Lucille Award on the table as well.
Wow.
And our table that night was Piano Bob and I, Buddy, and his manager. Jimmy just came over to talk. But we played that night in front of, all these people. And the people that presented the award to us were the Memphis Horns, which is the next picture. And Wayne Jackson, the guy on the left, we became really good friends. They're both passed away now, unfortunately.
And this is what? This is Memphis Horns in 1992, is that right?
The Memphis Horns are on the soundtrack of our life, man. All the stuff that came out of Stax,
Sure.
That's all them. They played with everybody from Elvis to Sting.
So they were like the horn section that sort of like moved around and did that thing.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
If you watched Otis Redding at Monterey, that's them playing horns with them, and they got a Grammy for being on the most #1 hit records of anybody.
For being on the most number, okay.
Yeah.
So they were like Let me get this right, and then Matt, because I'm sort of like new to all this stuff. So they would have like an horn section of people that played together. Yeah.
No, it's just those 2 guys.
Just 2 guys.
Yeah, because Wayne played trumpet and valve trombone, and the other guy played all the saxes.
But they were in demand, yes.
Yeah, and they would overdub and record as big a section as you needed or you wanted to have. And
so we've probably heard them quite a few times and like you say, they were on the most
on everything. You've heard them on everything.
Yeah, I played with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, the last time I heard them play actually was with Robert Cray, and they were out with B.B. King, which is another thing. We got to play with B.B. King because we were winning the award, which was great.
I was going to say, you playing what you do. B.B. King, surely that was an honor to sort of like.
Well, B.B. was a great guy, man. He would stay in his bus. They had 2 buses, one with equipment in the band, and they would go to the next gig. He would stay till the last person had a signed autograph and a picture with his bus.
How nice is that? But where does this come in? I'm looking at Sheba. Sheba and the Rhythm Kings. Who thinks up all these names though? You've seen how many names he's been through in all his life. It's great.
What happened was that I was looking to. I wanted to play with the band again. All right, and we did the Beale Street Music Festival 3 years in a row, and it was a great gig because we played on the back porch stage, and all the other bands that played, the big bands, they would come in and because they had big stages at each end of the park down on Mississippi, and James Brown, Fleetwood Mac. Black Crowes. Just a lot of up-and-coming bands. But we played on the back porch stage, which was like a little wood-built porch. And we would play all 3 days of the festival, 2 or 3 sets a day. So I got to see all these people. We got backstage passes and all that stuff. And one year we played. I don't know if you know who Keb Mo is. He's very big in the blues thing. Well, Keb was one of the guys on the stage with us, so we were switching sets with. Young black guy, looked like Robert Johnson, played great. Robert Johnson style, wrote good songs. His last album he did with Taj Mahal. They did an album together. Anyway, so I wanted to, Bob and I were going to do our CD, and I wanted to do half of it as acoustic and half of it with a band. He was totally against it, so...
this is the CD that you've got on here?
No.
No?
That's Sheep and the Rhythm Queens.
So okay.
This was Piano Bob and the Snowman.
Okay.
So Keb put out his, and he did exactly that. And he got a Grammy. We didn't get nothing. So I started a guy who owned a club in called the Poorhouse in Fort Lauderdale asked me to back this lady singer, Sheba. At the Fort Lauderdale Blues Festival, put a band to back her up. So I got the best musicians I could find, man. I picked the cream of the crop, really good guys, and we did it, and we just became a band after that, and we got very popular in the area doing that stuff. And
But this is Sheba and the Rhythm Kings. Is
Right.
what kind of music was that?
blues,
Just
and
blues,
R&B,
R&B and blues.
yeah.
And this is where the CD comes from, of course.
Yeah. And we did the CD, and I got to co-write or co-wrote all the songs on it. I produced it. That's the Sheba and the Rhythm Kings there. It's Sheba in the middle. It's Reed Roberts with his elbow on her. He played with everybody. He came out of Georgia with the Dixie Hummingbirds and a gospel band, and he played in a club in Miami that every R&B artist that you could think of came through and played at. You know, he was at the band.
Can we get Bobby? Can we get a bit of the old electric blues going? Can we do that, Snowman? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. He's telling me all these stories. I'm hungry for music.
Anyway, that's our label, our record label. I designed that, our cover. We have a candy in the U.S. called Good and Plenty.
A candy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has licorice things, and so I had to redesign it and call it Good and Plenty instead of Good and Plenty. And because the song is called He Calls Me Good and Plenty because I last all night long. And so what happened with that is that it became a collector's item. It's on Amazon now for $80.
$80.
Yeah, on Amazon. I wish I had a box of them still around.
I was going to say, have you ever looked at the bottom of the garage and found any? You could be sitting on a fortune.
So anyway, before I go into the other song, let me tell you what happened here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
As we were working 5 years, 250 dates a year for 5 years. You know, a lot of it on the road, and I used all my contacts that I made from winning the award, and then we were going to take a vacation, and I set my vacation to go to Thailand because my cousin had married a girl from Bangkok, and he was working in Saudi Arabia, and he was going to be on vacation at the same time. I was spending it with him. So 3 weeks before the vacation, the band breaks up.
This is sounding very familiar.
Like any band, you have internal things, you know, and sometimes they boil over. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to Thailand and have a good time. So I went. The first week I spent with my cousin's wife because he had to be in Seattle. He had some problems with the winter. And she showed me all around Bangkok. Then the second week she literally dropped me in Jomtien at their condo that they owned down there. I knew nothing about Patty or Jomtien. And I got up and I went to the beach to go swimming, and you know, I come from Miami Beach where the water is turquoise color.
Yeah.
You know, so I ended up going to the pool, and I met a couple that from Ireland that took me down, showed me how to take the bot bus downtown, and we went to the old Royal Gardens when they had movies there.
Movies, they did.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. And then down to Walking Street. We didn't go down Walking Street. We just that one bar that's outside there. I forget what it is. So I went back the next night to myself, and I'm walking down the street, and I see these girls holding a sign that says Blues Factory. I said, okay. So I walked in, and there was a band on stage. And
who was on there at the time? You're talking about 2001, 2002, huh?
The club had only been open about a month. And it was a very ragtag organization. It was led by a really good harmonica player, singer, showman. His name's Greg Carroll. He knows Greg a lot. Yeah. And he toured with Robert Palmer, and he's from Los Angeles. And then.
So when did you step foot in the Blues Factory to play? I mean,
what happened was I asked if I could sit in. And I sat in, and then I played a couple songs, and I came down, and he came over to me. He says, what are you doing here? I told him about the band breaking up. He says, well, if you think about coming back here, I'll give you a job. You know? So I said, yeah, I'll think about it. And the next night I told him, yeah, I'm coming back. You know, so I spent the rest of the time every night at the club playing when I was sitting in and doing stuff.
This is in what year?
It was right after 2001, right after 9/11, because I couldn't get out. I went back, sold everything, and then the vacation was in July. I came back in October after that. Sold everything, came back, ended up being there for 11 years.
You would have loved it, Matthew.
He was there. He was there.
You was there in the early days, yeah.
One time I was putting up my.
Was you there? Was you?
Yeah.
You liked it, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I was setting
Good
up.
atmosphere, yeah.
It was really nice.
I was setting up my pedals and stuff on the stage, beginning of the night, about 8:30 or something, because we started at 9. And I hear this voice behind me. Hi, I'm a guitar player, harmonica player from the Bay Area. I'm moving here. I wonder if I come in and jam. I said,
Sounds
sure.
like Matthew to me.
I said anytime. He says, here's my card. You can link me up. I put it in my bag. And
you were posh, having a card in those days.
And I came back home and I checked. I pulled the card out. And I looked at it. It had Grateful Dead logo. I says, "Who is this guy?" And I looked him up, and if the only thing he'd ever did in his life was play with T-Bo Walker till he died, he'd be my hero. But he's done so much more,
Right? Can we get, before we say goodbye, because we're gonna go into some other stuff that I just want to sort of go on, and we talk about your YouTube channel that's on there. We want to get a blues song in as well, don't we, Bobby? Because we've got people on the phone saying, "Tell him to play some blues on his electric guitar." That's what they're saying. Don't I mean, are you okay? You can come in on this?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, if you want to hear me play, come tomorrow night at Vickens on.
Where are you at?
Vickens on Jumtium Beach between Soy 2 and 3.
And are you playing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
There we go.
And who knows? He drops by once in a while.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night I'm playing out at the Bonna Gardens.
This is Tom's place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
In Hawaii.
Okay.
And it's off of Hawaii Road. It's right on Hawaii Road. But he's got, I'll be opening up, and then he's got a rock band playing, and then he has a 7-piece ska band playing from
That would be interesting to see.
From Bangkok. Yeah.
Do you know that, Matthew? The ska sound.
Yeah, I know the ska sound.
Yeah, it got big in the UK. That did.
Yeah, I don't know what the band you're referring to though.
Reggae man.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman. You remember that song?
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
that was probably the first ska song I can remember. But if they want to come down, I'll be great to see them.
Okay, all right, there we go. That's tomorrow night and Saturday night.
Okay.
You're going to play us a bit of blues, or are you going to join in, Matt?
Actually, we're going to play
I'm not sure.
some jump music.
Some jump music.
What key is
B flat.
What?
B flat.
Oh, B flat. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yes.
Hang on. We got to
Right.
go.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I just had the rehearsal. I told you that.
B flat.
Anyway, what happened is they call this jump or West Coast swing, and what happened was when the big bands couldn't afford the big bands anymore, they went down to just a rhythm section with like 1 or 2 horns, and it was called jump swing.
Jump swing. I've never heard of jump swing. Have you, Bobby?
I haven't heard of it either.
No. Hey, you see, the Englishman and the American. I've not heard of this thing.
Well, Bobby was
I
in
feel-
blues.
I feel better
Bob's
now.
a rock and roll.
So would that be like Blue Beat from England? Blue Beat?
No,
No.
it's not Northern Soul. That doesn't exist.
Okay. Well, I think when he starts to play it, we're going to recognise that kind of music, aren't we? Because I mean, you've got it. He's the Wikipedia.
Okay.
Oh no! When you hear it, you'll recognize it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
All right. Okay, Matt, you're okay?
Yeah,
Want to
sure.
join in? Okay. Here we go. Snowman live down here in the studio.
Need a guitar.
You got it. You got
Yeah, I
it.
know. You got the red button.
I've got the red button. Remember that. Or smile at the presenter. Okay, guys. Let's have some. What is it? Jump. Yeah.
Jumps.
Jump. Okay. Let's go.
Francisco, trying to get my woman on the line. I haven't seen my woman, you know, it's been such a long, long time. Seems like a month of Sundays I've been out here on this road. Seems like a month of Sundays I've been traveling this road. I haven't seen my woman, and people, let me tell you, I'm carrying a heavy load. Woman said she loved me, nobody ever take my place. Woman said she loved me, nobody ever take my place. It's 3 a.m. in Chicago, I'm calling to see if it's still the case. When I get back to my city, I'm gonna have me a really good time. Now when I get back to my city, I'm gonna have a real good time. Go hang out down at North Beach with those no good friends of mine. Oh, look out. Give me some now. my baby on the line. Calling San Francisco, trying to get my woman on the line. I haven't seen my baby, no, oh, it's been a long, long time. Now when I get back to my city, I'm gonna have me a real good time. Get back to my city by the bay, I'm gonna have a real good time. Go out and hang out down at North Beach with those no good friends of mine. Now I'm calling San Francisco, calling San Francisco, calling San Francisco.
this one now. Yeah, that's it.
Let's hear it for the guys. Let's hear it. Whoa. Woo! Wow, man. I mean, I was like building up some sweat on this chair. I was going. Oh, by the way, we've got to say this. I mean, you better get into your garage very, very quick because I've just looked up on Amazon. I've just looked up Shearer and the Rhythm Kings. Okay, Sheba and the Rhythm Kings. Sorry, he calls me Miss Goody Plenty. Yeah, okay. It's $79.98. Okay, and Amazon are saying to me, we're very sorry, but we've only got one left in stock. So, baby, you better start looking in your garage and dig deep.
I got one personal copy, and that's it, man. I gave a lot of them away.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Eh? Well, I mean, look at that. I mean, it's wow. There it is. One copy left. That was sheer talent, guys.
You get it if you were go quick.
I've just put it. I've just ordered it now. Listen, guys. That was sheer talent. All right. I mean, and when we've got goodness in the studio, we all feel how it comes over. Bobby, I mean, yeah, come on. I mean, you enjoyed that, didn't you? I mean, you was going for it.
That was beautiful. You guys are grooving there.
Thanks.
You've always got. We also have a nodometer. Do you know what the nodometer is? Yeah. The nodometer is when you look at Bobby and he's nodding like this. Yeah. And the more he nods, the more we knows that he's enjoying it.
We were both nodding. We were both doing it
we
together.
We were going for it, weren't we, mate? We were.
Well, I think if we did anything today, I hope it was to expel that idea that blues is a boring music.
Blues is far from boring, my friend. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm loving it more and more and more as I've met Matthew along the way with the harp and you with the guitars and people that come in this studio. You know, after being a DJ for a long time, this opens my eyes up to a whole new world and appreciate how you guys play and what you are. So I've got to say thanks a lot for coming in. What we have got to mention is there is videos on YouTube, isn't there, from the Blues Factory?
Yes. In your website, can you put it on the bottom?
Absolutely, of course we can.
Put it on the bottom there.
We can put the links in, can't we, Bobby?
Yeah, we can put links.
What it is I was there for 11 years, but the last 8 or 7 years, I had really a great band. I mean, really
tight.
Good
I remember it.
Yeah, with Mary and Oi and Nikki and
some great nights in there.
And Lek. Yeah, I mean it's a great band, and this is at it's 3 videos. But it's one concert. It's at the Phuket Blues Festival, and they used to have it. And so I mean everybody is just kicking ass.
All right, well we'll put all the links on there. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, it's been Snowman. It's been really cool.
Pleasure.
It's been my pleasure to have you in the studio. So you are a legend, and of course with Matthew Kelly in here as well, just to back it all up. I mean, what can we say? I mean, let's give these guys some applause because they deserve it.
For you.
Snowman, Matthew, welcome. Thanks a lot for joining me on the show today. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having us. And anytime we come back, we maybe just come back and do music.
Well, let's have a jam.
Let's do that.
We're going to try and fit the whole band there one night.
You know what? You know what I was thinking. You know, not only do I have another guy that you should. I told you about Richard about getting him in here.
Oh yeah.
He lives here in town. He had a great.
He
had a big long career.
This door is open.
Yeah,
this door is not closed to anybody.
Big career in Europe as a singer and piano player, great piano player. But what I would like to see sometime on a show is like to see you interview each other.
I've already been interviewed actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was. It's sort of like it turns the table, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It turns the table. It's like
Well, get
this
Bobby
guy
out.
over here saying, "Play a harp."
Get Bobby out here. Get Bobby out here.
I'm going to interview him. I'm going to
Yeah.
interview. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to build content. We're trying to do things, like everything. There's not one thing we're concentrating on. We've got people from Germany next week who was with Mark Boland of T-Rex and all these people. We've got Bill Legend from T-Rex who lives up near your friend in America, which is Bob Weir?
Bob Weir, yeah.
Bob Weir, he lives near him over there. And we've got some guys over in the UK. We've got Mike and the Mechanics from Genesis, who's going to try and hook up with us as well. So we've got lots of people and also local talent as well.
Well, soon maybe Lenny Tucky will be back. He's got
great
great history.
Yeah, so I mean, this door is open to everybody, and all we want to do is have some fun with people, let people tell their stories, come on the show, it's free, we have a great time, and hopefully at the end of the day they enjoy the content. And at the moment, the feedback that we're getting is really cool. cool. And after
Yeah,
today,
it's a
it's
great
going to
show.
be even more cooler. Yes?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank
it's
you.
a pleasure.
Thanks.
It's a pleasure and a
Bobby.
honey. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, Snowman. Thank you so much. And a nod to Snowman because Snowman introduced me to you, Matthew.
Yeah, really?
I had come to visit Patia, and I met
Blues
Snowman at the
Factory.
Blues Factory, and he said that I should meet you because we have similar friends from the Bay Area, and he put us together in 2008.
We're all
Small
connected.
world,
We're
small
all
world.
connected.
We're all connected.
We're all
Yeah, we
connected.
What's that? Is that
amazing.
called the daisy chain?
Even the foreigner. Thank you, guys. It's been great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talking Heads podcast live from Pattaya, Thailand with your host Dave D. Join us weekdays. Check out all the latest updates on talkingheads-podcast.com.